Again, I think this is happening in slow motion. Of course, we can see light coming behind the moon, and it's what a phenomenon! I'm almost speechless. People are cheering once again. People are clapping. People are cheering. People are drumming. People are singing here on the plaza in front of the state capital of Oregon in Salem, Oregon, just south of Portland. I think the sun has shown maybe 1 to 5% of its light behind the moon already. The drumming is nonstop. People here are drumming. People are clapping. People are hugging and kissing. People are celebrating this unique moment that supposedly only happened once in 99 years, that a total eclipse would sweep from the west to the east coast of the United States. This time in 2017, this total eclipse will begin in Oregon and stretch all the way across the United States and end in Charleston, South Carolina. So over 12 million people are living directly in the path of this total eclipse, while 200 million are only within a day's driving. So you can imagine how many people will be in the world. The sky is becoming more light, more bright, and I have to put on my glasses back on to observe the sight. You can see the moon is moving away from the sun, is moving away from the direct line between Earth and the sun, revealing the sun behind the moon. What a phenomenon! What a phenomenon! While total eclipses are not a particularly rare incident, they happen once every 18 months. But for the total eclipse to sweep all over or across the United States is a once-in-a-century opportunity. To be sure, the next solar or total solar eclipse will take place in the United States in 2024, and the next one in 2045. But none will be as spectacular as the one you are witnessing right now. Now, it will only take about 1 hour and 33 minutes for the total eclipse, for the shadow of the sun, or shadow of the moon, to sweep from coast to coast. And over here in Oregon, we're only witnessing 1 minute and about 30 seconds. In certain parts of the United States, it can go long as more as 2 minutes and 40 seconds, I believe, in some parts of Illinois and Kentucky in central. But that's because the moon or the sun is moving at different speed compared to the Earth. So the shadow moves at a different speed. Right now, I believe in Oregon, the shadow moves at a speed of 2,955 miles per hour. That is almost 4,600 kilometers per hour. That's really, really fast. But in Indiana and some parts of Kentucky, the shadow slows down to 1,400 miles per hour. So people there would luckily get more view of the spectacular phenomenon. The band for total eclipse will be about 60 miles wide. That is about 110 kilometers wide. People outside of this band will also see eclipse, but only partially. For instance, people in New York, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in Washington, D.C., they'll all experience some kind of darkening around them, but they will not see complete darkness as we have seen just now in Oregon. And such a spectacular phenomenon. Of course, Oregon is one of the earliest places that the spectacular phenomenon can be observed, and later I think the shadow has already moved more inland to Idaho, to Kansas, to Missouri, to Kentucky, and then finally leaving the United States through South Carolina in Charleston. Now, for those of you who are not very familiar with this astronomical phenomenon, just a little brief background information. How does the eclipse form? Well, simply put, it forms whenever the moon moves directly between the Earth and the Sun, casting its shadow on the surface of the Earth. Now, to be exact, the solar eclipses are not particularly rare. It happens every 18 months, that's 1.5 years on Earth. But it happens in different places each time, sometimes over the ocean. So no one gets a really good chance to observe it. And this time it is a rare phenomenon that the shadow would move across the North American continent from Oregon, United States. Already ended. The crowd is here. They're still trying to remember the most of the site as possible. They're still here looking at the sun, looking up at the sun, and trying to memorize all they've seen here today. We can see thousands of people, if not tens of thousands of people, gathered here in front of the state capitol of the state of Oregon in Salem. We're only about an hour's drive from the western coast, so this is actually one of the most earliest places that the eclipse or total eclipse can be viewed. Thousands of people have gathered here. People from Germany, from Europe, from Canada, from all over the United States, even as far as New York City and Texas in the south, came here to chase this spectacular phenomenon. And from people that I've talked to, people prepare for this event for years and months and weeks before time. Because a lot of people flew to Portland, a nearby city, last night, many people chose to start very early this morning, as early as 4 o'clock in the morning, on their drive here, a 1-hour drive to Salem City, to avoid traffic. So you can definitely feel the enthusiasm behind that people have for this rare phenomenon. You can see we're giving you a 360-degree view of the site we're in. You can see we're surrounded by astronomy enthusiasts. We're surrounded by fans. And behind me, just here in the state capitol, state legislature, the officials here have also organized a special event to accommodate all these people. People are predicting as many as tens and thousands of people who will flood to the city to view this phenomenon. And inside of the Capitol, the post offices stands have been set up, or souvenir shops have been set up, so that you can buy solar eclipse related souvenirs, such as first day covers or special stamps which I have just bought from the inside the building. Now, luckily, from what I've just observed, we were able to see all the stages of this total solar eclipse, from when the moon covers partially the sun and then to eventually 100% of the sun, to bring complete darkness over the city, and to this diamond-shaped phenomenon where only a sliver, not a sliver, only a piece of the sun can be seen from the Earth, and forming a diamond-like phenomenon. I'm sure we will give you clearer pictures here on Xinhua's official Facebook page just a little bit later. We also have a really cool time-lapse video that we can post up here later on this Facebook page. Please come back to this page and have a view of that. Now we're approaching a group of people who are celebrating this spectacular event. We can see drumming and people in costumes. Perhaps they're performing some kind of a ritual. It seems like Native Americans and they're dancing to this. They're using musical instruments. Some kind of I think they're from Alaska. They're performing a traditional ritual to celebrate this event. I'm sure solar eclipses have profound meaning in their culture, and they're wearing traditional costumes. You can see this traditional Native American dancing. People are dancing here to the sun, performing a traditional ritual in their traditional costumes with little bells on their ankles. And also, they're burning incense on the ground, creating a very special aroma. We're bringing for a closer look over here, see how what kind of ritual they are performing. Many people are filming this special dance. Stay tuned, even though the total eclipse here in Oregon is over, but I'm sure our colleagues in other places of the United States will bring into you live pictures from New York City, I'm sure, live pictures of the sun as the shadow moves across the country. Hi, excuse me. We're from press from China. Could you tell us a little bit about this dance and your tribe?
Yeah, of course. Our name is Coatlicue, that in indigenous language means Mother Earth, and we're here to greet the sun and the moon as we call them Father Sun and Mother Moon today in duality. And in our culture, our ancestors, drums means the grandfathers and the heartbeat of your heart, and herbs medicine that we can smell for cleaning your soul and all your points of healing. So yeah, that's what we're doing today, greeting the sun and the moon and gather energy.
So where is your tribe originally from?
Aztecs.
In Mexico. Mexico. Mm-hmm. So you travel from Mexico here to celebrate this event?
We are from Mexico, but we live in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, okay. But okay. Yeah, we're from Mexico.
Could you tell us a little bit about this instrument and the musical instruments that you used here, or especially the little bells on your ankles? That seems pretty cool.
Yeah, the ankles are like this. These are seeds from a tree, and the sounds for us, it means the water. With the four elements, this is water and the fire and the wind. So we have all the elements together.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, from what they've just told us, they're Aztec and Mayan people from Mexico, but they live here in Portland, Oregon, and they came here to celebrate the union of the moon and the sun. And their musical instruments, of course, symbolizes the elements of the earth, including water, fire, wind, and the sun. It was a very unique dance, and we certainly enjoyed it. Now the moon is moving quickly away from the direct line between the Earth and the Sun, which is now covering only 20% of the Sun. And so the light here in Salem, Oregon has become back to normal, almost back to normal, I would say. But I'm sure people across the United States are observing total eclipse right now. Maybe here in Idaho, maybe in Kansas, I'm not sure where, but it is the shadow is definitely sweeping through the country from the West Coast towards the East Coast. It will exit the United States in Charleston, South Carolina, and everyone from here, from Oregon to South Carolina, in between, can observe this rare and special phenomenon that is this total solar eclipse of 2017. Right, over here we have Leon, and who's from Los Angeles, who came here especially to view this spectacular phenomenon. Hi, Leon.
Hi.
So
Nice.
how do you like the solar eclipse here?
It was pretty awesome. When Totality happened, it was just a spectacular event. I've never seen it before in my life, and I would totally want to see it again.
So I see you have a pretty professional gear over here, a monocular. So I presume you are a space enthusiast?
Yes, I consider myself an amateur astronomer. What I have is a solar telescope dedicated to looking at the sun. So you can use it to see solar flares and sunspots. And I broke it out for this just to see the total solar eclipse.
So will this be your first solar eclipse?
My second one, my first one was partial. I didn't see the total. But this time, my first time in my life, I saw a total solar eclipse, and it was very great.
I heard there will be other solar eclipses here in the United States, the earliest one in 2024. Are you going to chase that too as well?
Well, after seeing this one, I would definitely travel far to see the next total solar eclipse.
All right, thank you. Good luck with that. Thank you very much. So as I said, people from all over the world and the United States are traveling here to Oregon for the first glimpse of the total solar eclipse. I've spoken to people from Germany, from Canada, and from other states such as New York, from Texas, and practically all over. A lot of people from Washington State, from Seattle, from Los Angeles, from San Francisco, because they're closer to here and they're traveling here to view this, to join together in this special moment. All right, folks, I'm sure as we're beginning to wrap up here in Salem, Oregon, I'm sure you've definitely enjoyed this rare phenomenon. And if you've missed it, don't worry, we have a time-lapse video of the scene, which is super cool. We're going to post it up on our Facebook page a little bit later. And also, we're going to have super clear professional photos of the sun, of different stages of the eclipse posted on our Facebook page and Twitter account just maybe in a couple of minutes. So make sure if you missed the live streaming, come back for some more videos and pictures. And now we're going to hand it to our colleagues further east. They're covering the eclipse for you because the shadow is moving towards them. And so that is a wrap up here in Salem, Oregon, and goodbye.
Hi there, welcome to the Central Park, New York. I'm Xueyao reporting. Although the New York City is not in the path of today's total solar eclipse, there are many New Yorkers coming to the Central Park to watch it. The partial eclipse just began at 1:23 p.m. And the maximum eclipse will be at 2:44 p.m. the local time. And nearly 72% of the sun will be covered at that time. So if you're in the New York, just don't miss that moment. Here's in New York.